What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Overtime with RDL. My guest this week is Simsboro Junior Chris Harrell. Chris has allowed Simsboro baseball to kind of get off to a pretty amazing start this season. As we're recording this, Simsboro is currently number 7 in the Class B power rankings and has a 17-6 record. Chris is this team's starting shortstop. Most games you're going to see them play, and is at the top of their batting order as well. So, Chris, I appreciate you hopping on with me this episode.
Um,
Like I mentioned there, again, Simsboro baseball. I've been covering just Lincoln Parish sports here for the past couple of years, and Simsboro, baseball has always kind of been hot and cold. There's been some good seasons, there's been some down years. You guys have obviously had some playoff runs. Like, what do you feel like has allowed like this season to come together? Because it's basically pretty much the same roster that you guys have had. A lot of veterans that have played together for a while. What do you feel like has made this year different for you guys?
I mean, really, it's just our work ethic. Coach Hires pushing us the hardest we can every day, even if it's in the summer with conditioning or working in the cages or no matter what, just taking no days off, coming together as a team, saying, "Look, this has to be our year. Like we have to leave the sofa. This is a big dream." Just putting everything together, having big time players or making big time plays, hitting when we're supposed to hit, even a lot of runners on base, making and also in addition to the team, second baseman Cade, so that was a kind of a big piece, missing out on Rainbow when he went down last season and did not have it this season too, as due to him graduating. So I think it was a big piece, but mainly it was just our work ethic, working hard, saying that, hey, we want to be great this year, so that's what we're going to do.
As an upperclassman, like, and I'm sure, seen as a leader on this team, like, how do you try and maybe like instill just like that work ethic? Because like it's probably really easy for a team to say like, okay, we want to accomplish these things, but like you said, like it takes that work ethic and that extra work. Like, maybe as a leader, how did you try and like kind of help motivate your teammates?
I mean, just like the experience, really. With me being growing up around the college atmosphere and watching baseball pretty much all my life, I see what it takes to go there. I see what it takes to be in Omaha for college. I see what it takes to be in the World Series for MLB teams. I mean, I've played in a state championship with travel ball and et cetera. So I know what it's like to be there and telling the guys like, hey, if we really want to make it, this is what we have to do. We have to run maybe 2 more laps instead of one, or we have to do 5 more push-ups instead of 2 more push-ups. So, it's just being there, just telling my guys like, look, I've been here. Yeah, I know what it takes. Coach Hires has been there. I'm pretty sure he's played in big games. So just us coming together and saying, we know what it takes. So that's just really how it is.
How would you describe just like kind of the makeup of this team? Like I mentioned, there's a lot of guys that have played a lot of different positions and obviously with each other for a number of years. Like maybe just like talk me through just kind of like the chemistry and just kind of like the bond that you guys have in that locker room.
Yeah, really just, I mean, knowing your place, knowing like where you belong at on the field or where you belong at on the lineup to help us win games. Like that's really what we had to come to. Sometimes maybe when I'm pitching or when Noah's pitching, just putting me on short or put me on second, just being able to play different positions. I think that was really big for us because we do move a lot of guys around and those guys still make plays for us. Sometimes we know Braylon's on first or Max is on third. Like we know that they're pretty set. But if we have to move guys around, they know like what to do, when to do it, and know that like, hey, I played here before, so it's not like it's nothing new. And also teaching them the new position, like maybe right field is a little different from left field due to wind or the hitter that's up. So also just teaching them and knowing like things are going to be different, but you still have to know your place in the lineup, know where you're at on the field, and know what to do when the ball's hit to you, and et cetera.
Do you feel like the program has really changed as far as maybe like kind of the style of play or just kind of the mentality that you guys have wanted to play with? Or do you feel like for the most part, like you said with Coach Hires and just a lot of guys that have played in the program, do you feel like, pretty much everything has stayed the same, for the most part, except for like you said, the work ethic?
I mean, our mindset definitely changed a little bit. I mean, the main goal is SOFR, but it's also just going from last year, knowing we had to work on and knowing things that we messed up on. Maybe we don't do that this year because we're taking it more serious. We're knowing that, okay, when bases are loaded, we have to put the ball in play. I feel like we've done that a lot this year. Uh, when we have big time plays, like maybe a double play when we need it, we know to make that play now instead of like last year when we kind of bobble it or something like that. But this year it's totally different. Our mindset's different. It makes us so successful in the future, making us, where we are now, number 7 and stuff like that, and leading us to the big goal at the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take an ad break, then we'll come back to this interview. This portion of Overtime is sponsored by Smith Law Offices. Mike Smith is a three-time Best of Lincoln Parish Award winner for Best Public Servant and Best Attorney. Smith Law Offices is the premier personal injury law firm in Ruston. Visit Smith Law Offices located at 301 South Bonner Street in Ruston for the expert legal representation you need for your personal injury case. Back here with Chris. Chris, this is a segment in the podcast we like to do. Is just kind of like explain the journey of just kind of like, letting our listeners know kind of how you got involved in your sport and just kind of the people that have been able to pour into you throughout your athletic and just personal journey. So I'm curious for you. I know obviously, again, baseball has been a big part of your life for a long time. Like maybe like walk our listeners through like when do you remember first kind of playing baseball? What were kind of some of your early memories of the sport?
So first started playing baseball in Jonesboro. I was like 3 years old. I met a lot of great guys there, like great coaches there. That kind of what got me started. I always just fell in love with it because a lot of people, they think it's too slow or something like that, and that's kind of what makes it stand out. Like slow games, having more mind games, being able to mess with hitters, being able to mess with pitchers, or something like that. Throughout the journey, just playing travel ball, playing rec ball, so many memories. It's just too many I can't count on. But uh, and then also just going to the big stage, playing in the World Series, having state championship rings, playing on Mother's Day Classics and et cetera, and those are big moments for me and big memories that I can tell a lot of people about. Holding 10 rings from travel ball is kind of amazing, kind of a good journey to have. When I got to Simsboro, so I was in seventh grade, and one random practice, Coach Hires told me that I was playing varsity. Now, I was scared because I was a 13-year-old kid at the time. I was like, I'm playing with big boys. This is kind of scary. But just him having the faith and believe that, hey, I can be one of them guys, or I'm just as good as the guys that, we go against or that he puts on the field, kind of just gave trust in myself, believing in myself, saying, look, you're good enough to go out there. Coach Hires think it, then you can think it. So, I think that was a big part of playing in the first playoff game, my 8th grade year, being a big key against that, making us win against Forest with a big hit late into the game. And I think that was pretty cool. So then 9th grade, 10th grade year was just amazing. Just seeing different atmospheres play against Picking and the playoffs and just seeing their environment compared to everybody else's environment. It's just crazy. So, I have a lot of great memories. I reminisce on them every now and then just to keep myself, in the same mind that, hey, you're still a kid and, have fun while playing the game. So I think it's pretty fun.
When it comes to baseball, I'm curious, it's such a mental game where obviously like, success or failure, you have to kind of flush it, after every single game and just kind of, get back to the work. Like what kind of keeps you in love with baseball? Like, what do you like about the sport?
Everything, just, and like you said, a big mental part is it, like how mentally tough are you? Let's see, like, how does a 0-4 night affect you for the rest of the season, or how does a 3-for-3 night affect you for the rest of the season? I think that's what kind of makes baseball stand out is, like failing at the game is good. Like going 3 out of 10 is considered good in baseball, and I think that's what makes it, different because it's like it's just so much more that stands out other than other sports, But baseball just it's been my first love, so it's kind of just how it is.
We hear from so many athletes about kind of like what motivates them and just individually. I'm curious for you throughout your journey, who are some people that you kind of look back on? I know like you mentioned Coach Hires like kind of gave you your first opportunity at Simsboro to kind of, play on those big stages. And maybe it's him, but like who are some people throughout your life that you feel like really poured into you and just kind of gave you that motivation, gave you the coaching and the guidance that, has kind of brought you to this point today?
Yeah, well, I gotta thank God first, and then just him having a faith for me and giving me the opportunity, giving me the ability to play the sport. Then I gotta thank, my mom and all of them for putting in money and believing in me that I could go play at big time tournaments or camps or anything like that. And just being raised around the college atmosphere, being here with Coach Coop, who was at Grambling before, now he's at the Yankees development program, being him Coach Pierre now, growing up around Coach Burrows with Tech and his camps, it just put a different standard on a different level, saying like, oh, this is what it's like. Like, okay, them guys motivate me to say you can be a college athlete, you can be a college prospect, you can be a big time guy, even if it's not for us, But just having them motivate me, make me work harder, and just seeing what it's like to just be that, be a great college prospect.
You mentioned your family a little bit there, but I'm curious, like how much have they just, specifically just poured into you and just kind of given you like the spark that it takes to, like you said, just continue to just grind, with the work basically.
And just keep working. So a lot of money's being spent. $200 gloves, $400 bats, and sometimes you just have to just put in the work. Having them just being grateful for the opportunity, being grateful that they can buy things like that, give me the opportunity for things like that, being in camps like that. So I mean, it's amazing, having parents like that. But uh, I mean, they just did so much more. Always teaching me, hey, head down when you're trying to hit, or get out front when you're pitching, or something like that. So I mean, it's just amazing just seeing those guys, seeing just being there for me and supporting me throughout the whole journey.
Are there any teammates either at Simsboro or like you mentioned your travel ball days that you feel like you guys have really just had a great connection and have been able to kind of just motivate each other and just kind of build friendships like through the sport?
Yeah, of course, just everybody on Silver, man. Y'all have great chemistry, y'all have great friendship. We always hang out here all the time, and travel ball started from D5 with Coach Joe, or Rustin Reds with Coach Nazar. It's just a lot. There's a lot of guys at Rustin that I know I'm good friends with. Uh, Back to when I mentioned the camps, Coach Burrow's son, actually, me and him are actually good friends. So, I mean, I met a lot of good people. I met a lot of good friends. I feel like at the end goal is we can just hang out. We can just have good times and see each other as we progress in the high school, and see each other in college, or see each other in the big leagues, because it will be cool to go against those guys or even be teammates with those guys on the next level. So I mean, it's a lot of great friendships.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like baseball, especially when you guys are, in the dugout for these long stretches of time, like it's easy to kind of build those friendships.
Okay.
We're taking another ad break, then we'll come back to this interview. This portion of Overtime is sponsored by Rustin Glass. Rustin Glass is a three-time Best of Lincoln Parish Award winner committed to providing the highest quality of repair, replacement, and installation services. Give them a call or visit them at 512 Georgia Avenue. From repairing cracked glass to installing commercial storefront, Rustin Glass is prepared to assist you with any needs in the glass industry. Back here with Chris. Chris, this is probably my favorite segment of the podcast where we just kind of do some icebreakers and just trying to get to know our guests, kind of off the field and just like what they like to do, their personality, things like that. So we're going to be going a lot of different directions, but I'm just curious with your answers with all these. So we'll start with the big one. In baseball, who would you consider the GOAT?
But I consider the GOAT. Ooh, that's a good one. Well, there's a lot of great players that came across, but if I had to say who's the GOAT, I really like King Griffey Jr. just because I can resume myself a lot from him. Being that lefty with a smooth swing and keeping that style where he had the backwards head, or he played with his father. So I mean, it was just that. I think if I had to consider a GOAT, I would say King Griffey Jr.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one right there. Do you have like a college or like a professional team that like you're heavily invested in or you watch a lot? Do you have anyone like that?
College team is definitely Vanderbilt. I'm a big Vanderbilt fan. But that's not being ranked right now. It's kind of different. It's kind of hard to watch, but it's all right. I know they're probably going to the SEC tournament. The MLB is the Atlanta Braves because my favorite player plays on there, Ronald Acuna Jr. So it's just I kind of stay visiting them, trying to see what he's doing and what they're doing, and how they're seeing if they're making any trades in the postseason or anything like that. So I think those are my two.
Was it a tough blow a couple years ago losing Freddie to the Dodgers?
It was kind of tough. Just seeing how Freddie did for the program and the franchise, and how he even brought a World Series for us. But and, it is what it is. I think eventually one day we'll face him again and we'll get him that time.
Yeah, I'm honestly I'm a Cubs fan, and it's one of those things where like every single year everyone gets all excited, and it's like yeah, but the Dodgers like they literally like bought the entire league, so it's kind of hard to like.
Yeah.
If you had to pick if either after a game or maybe just on the weekend with friends in Ruston, Grambling, Simsboro, whatever it is, like are there some like places you like to go eat? Just like what are the places that you like to go hang out with some friends that people should be put on to?
Really, so lately with my high school team, we've been going to Chili's a lot, just being there, just having the experience and just eating good. But when Grambling, I don't know if y'all know about it, but it's J&J's Express. It's like a little wing place in their gas station. It's pretty good. I like wings, so that's my favorite food. So I try to go there as much as I can.
What's the go-to order there?
I get a 10-piece hot lemon pepper with fries and strawberry lemonade. Well, they have pink lemonade, but
Yeah, that sounds pretty solid right there. Who are some artists that you like to listen to music wise?
I don't know. I really know a lot, but lately I have to say it's been a little bit of YB. Uh, and I like to switch it up depending on like game days or practice days and just try to relax and listen to chill music. Maybe like, I listen to a couple female artists to kind of just smooth my mind a little bit. I think those are, Janae Aiko or something like that. That's kind of been where I've been headed.
Yeah, SZA is in my rotation pretty heavy, regardless of where I'm at. So I would say I'm sure you listen to her, but definitely a good choice for sure. If you woke up tomorrow, you won the lottery, you won like $10 million. Like, what are some of the first things that you're gonna do with it?
I have to say, buy my mom her dream purple Mustang first for I do anything, and then just probably just buy myself a house or buy her a house or something like that, and just buy a lot of baseball gear because I mean I got $10 million, so I can just buy a lot
I like that. How long's the purple Mustang been in the picture there? I like that.
forever. It's been in there forever. I mean, it's just I can't wait to get it for it. It's definitely gonna be a big surprise.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like whenever I've asked athletes on here that question, they pretty much have always started with, "Yeah, I'm gonna give my mom something." So it's always cool hearing that for sure. Uh, who is the funniest teammate that you have right now?
Either Chris Stevens or Maximus Lee. Those two are, if you want a good laugh, those are probably the two you want to go to.
What do they do that gets you going?
There's no filter. Since whatever goes to their heads, man, it's just funny because you just never know what they're going to say. Even if you're having a bad day, and just say something to you that just brightens your day, makes you laugh, and just forget that you had a bad day. So those guys are great.
Yeah, those teammates are the best, especially like you said, when you have to go through the grind of a season. At least you always know, like, hey, these guys are always gonna put a smile on my face for sure. I love that. If you had to pick, if you had to go throughout the rest of your life and you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Is there any like particular like flavor? Or, like, what are we doing with that?
Probably lemon pepper, and it has to be all flats. I don't like drums, so I'm not a drums type of guy. So it probably be lemon pepper.
So you're probably gonna hate me for this, but like, see, like I like boneless and bone-in wings, but like my friends are those type of people where like they're gonna like get on me if like all I eat is boneless. So like I don't know what your stance is on that. Like, would you consider those wings or like?
I mean, I got a couple friends that eat boneless wings. I mean, it's just, I guess whatever you like. I'm more of a bone-in type of guy, but if you like boneless, I'm not gonna judge you for it.
Yeah, I respect that. Last one for you here in this segment. If you had to pick the rest of your life, who would you say like one concert that you could go to? Like, but like this is the last one you ever get to go to for the rest of your life. Like, who's someone that you just like would love to see in concert?
That's a nice one. I don't know because I listen to so many artists, so it's crazy to just pick one off the top of my head. But if I had to choose, it would probably be like just it would probably be a Janae Aiko concert just to keep my not to do anything lavish out of my mind or anything. Just also just have a calm day. It's so peaceful to listen to her. Whatever, just have so much going on with school or working out or something, and everything's running ahead. You can just rely on a calm, smooth song just to slow you down. And I think she hits the spot almost every time with her songs.
Yeah, avoid the mosh pits for sure in that one. Yeah. We'll take one more ad break, then we'll come back to this interview. This portion of Overtime is sponsored by Southern Classic Chicken, proudly sponsoring local athletes. Southern Classic Chicken is the winner of the 2024 and 2025 Best of Lincoln Parish Award for Best Chicken. Located at 1010 East Georgia Avenue in Ruston, serving the best, most delicious fried chicken and sides in Louisiana for more than 35 years. With chicken so good, it's wrong. Southern Classic Chicken. Back here with Chris. Chris, again, we're recording this before the playoffs, and there's still a couple more weeks to go before that. But I'm curious, like, what have you feel like you guys have learned from your previous playoff experiences that, now that you're going into this year, that you feel like you'll be able to kind of adjust and obviously, get ready for the postseason?
Really one thing is the environment. I think environment plays a big part. Like I said, we played against Picken, and I mean they just shut the whole city down. I mean everybody from Picken was there and just being loud and supporting. So I mean, our fan base is pretty good. I'm grateful for them that they come to the game, so I think that'll be a big part. But also just playing in it, just knowing like, okay, this is the playoffs. Like everybody has to step their game up 2 or 3 notches. Everybody has to hit better. Everybody has to lay the ball down better. Everybody has to feel better. Have to really be key to attention to detail now, just due to it's the playoff. Because this game is way bigger than any regular season game. It's to get us to the next fight, it's to get us down south in May and playing the big championship. So really just keep sticking to the little things, making sure that heads in the glove or we make sure our hands are where it's supposed to be when we want to hit, making sure that we're hitting our spots for fastballs or curveballs or anything like that. Just sticking to the small details.
Yeah, absolutely. What's kind of like the dynamic like where you don't necessarily want to like put every single moment like in this huge like pressure spot because like then you're just gonna kind of get like nervous, but like at the same time, how do you also make sure that guys understand like, hey, these are big moments and like we want to like rise to the occasion? How do you kind of like walk that line? You think?
Hey, just tell them, like, it's a big moment, but like Coach Harris always tell them, you only put pressure on yourself. So you mean just, enjoy the moment while you can, take a deep breath, knowing that, hey, it's a playoff game, it's a big game, but also it's just another game. It's just another game on the schedule that we created for ourselves. So I mean, it's just like any other game, go in with the same mindset, knowing, hey, I'm gonna hit the ball today. Or if I get the ball, I'm gonna make a play, I'm gonna turn it up a play, I'm gonna throw it to first, whatever it is. Just taking deep breaths, keeping them in the same mindset. Hey, it's a big game, but it's still a game. Like it's just still, no matter who we play or when we play at, just keeping the same mindset that we had at the beginning of the season to now to going into playoffs and etc.
What would it mean personally for you? You've been mentioning it, but what would it just mean personally for you to help get this team to Sulphur and compete for a state championship?
It would mean a lot, just coming from the team we were when I was in 7th grade to now, it's been a lot. So, I mean, it would be a really, really big impact on for me and my team for me to help them get there, and I would say, Simsboro won the game. I wouldn't say B or something like that, but I mean, I would love to just be an impact, maybe picking up a big hit or pitching a good game or making a game ending play or whatever it is, just being a big impact. I feel good about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Last one for you. Throughout this postseason run, who do you feel like is maybe a player that maybe people like aren't super aware of, but you feel like come playoff time, like they're going to be in these big moments, and they might come up with like one of those big plays if you had to maybe point someone out.
Yeah, I mean, normally it's gonna be the whole team, but if I really had to pick one, I'd probably say Chris Stevens. A lot of people they talk about how loud he is on the field or like what he talks about, et cetera. But in big moments, we know that we can. That's a guy that we can just depend on. We know he's going to come up with a big hit, or we know he's going to throw somebody out. We need him to throw somebody else. So I definitely say Chris Stevens.
Yeah, I love that. Well, good deal, Chris. I appreciate your time, and yeah, again, if you have not had a chance to watch Simsboro play this year on the dime, there's still a couple weeks left before the playoffs, and I would definitely highly encourage you to do it. Like Chris said, they've got really deep lineup and some good pitching as well, so it's just it's fun baseball to watch. So, Chris, I appreciate your time, man, and good luck the rest of the season.
Jake, shoot.